We are very glad to welcome all the conference participants from Kyiv. Today, Svitlana Matvieieva, will be a presenter of our research. And today my talk is about a legal term, refugee біженець, in modern juridical discourse. Just a moment, please. So, modern terminology science is characterized by cognitive direction of the terms study, considering the mental processes of their nomination, the role of terms in the processes of scientific thinking and cognition, resulting in the formation of the cognitive defined approaches to understanding terms as complex structures enabling conceptualization and verbalization of fragments of the professional worldview. Taking into account the cognitive discursive characteristics of a legal term, we defined it as a word or phrase that represents a fragment of the legal worldview and verbalizes the cognitive terminological structure in legal discourse. Recently, among various terminological systems, the legal one, studied both as a system of linguistic science of a secondary nomination and elements of juridical technique, began to expand with the nominations which in the field of this terminological system turned from the units of common use to the conceptual structures of terminological nature, units of professional awareness in which fragments of the professional worldview are concentrated and which have a verbal realization in the form of terms. One of such terminological structures in the legal field is the concept refugee біженець. Among the legal terms relating naming of a person, a special place is occupied by units reflecting the name of the personal legal status, the legal position of a person in society, according to which an individual, as a subject of law, enters a legal relationship, coordinates their activities and behavior in society. In the legal sciences, the types of legal status are distributed according namely the status of citizens, foreigners, stateless persons, individuals with dual nationality, refugees, citizens abroad, the status of civil servants and officials, the status of persons working under the extreme conditions, etc. There are many classification features for distinguishing a status, but the status based on citizenship is of interest for our study: a foreign citizen, a stateless person, a refugee, a forced migrant, etc. One of the lexims that demonstrates an important social phenomenon of the present and has a specific semantic content in English and Ukrainian is the multi-sectoral terminological unit refugee біженець, which includes the legal discourse among the areas of its active functioning. The refugee problem is not new. It has accompanied the entire history of mankind alongside wars and conflicts. In today's world, the lexims for refugee are units of common use. For example, in the English language, the lexeme refugee is one of the 10,000 most commonly used words in the dictionary, Collins English Language Dictionary. In 2015, in several languages at once, the words denoting refugees and refugee-related phenomena became the words of the year. These words are presented on the screen. The Google Trends, a search and analysis tool, provides access to mostly non-filtered samples of the actual Google search requests. These data are categorized, indicating the subject of the search request, and grouped, thus allowing to cover the interest of a given topic at both global and local levels. Quantitative indicators demonstrate the popularity of the search term in regards to the highest point of the graph for a particular region and time period. 100 is the peak of the term's popularity. 50 means that the popularity of the term is twice less. 0 means that there was not enough data about this term. The following monitoring criteria and characteristics have been selected for the analysis of the frequency of the queries formation with the search term refugee and біженець. The first one is region, to represent the use of the language, the United States of America and Great Britain for the English language, and Ukraine for the Ukrainian language. The second one is time period, from the 1st of January 2014 to the 1st of January 2021. The timing is based on the intensification of social events in Ukraine that refer to directly and indirectly, and on which the functioning and certain transformation trends of the characteristics of the refugee біженець subject area units depend. Figure 1 shows the popularity of the search term refugee. Period is from the 1st of January 2014 to the 1st of January 2021. The region is the United States of America. The query language is English. Figure 2 shows the popularity of the search term refugee within the same period, but the region is Great Britain. The query language is English, and figure 3 demonstrates the popularity of the search term біженець within the same period of time, but the region is Ukraine and the language is Ukrainian. The data obtained show differences in the frequency of use of the units refugee and біженець by English and Ukrainian speakers respectively. At the same time, there are similarities, particularly at the peak point between the European and American regions. Regarding the use of the term біженець in the Ukrainian language, we have noted a slight decline in activity over the past 4 years, 100, 55, 52, the last 3 peaks, which were primarily related to the country's internal social and political events. When analyzing the use of these lexemes in 2 languages, it is also necessary to take into account the fact that English is the language of international communication, and requests within Ukraine are formulated both in Ukrainian and in English. Comparison of the use of the lexemes refugee in English and біженець in Ukrainian in the search query in Ukraine shows the following results. You see them on the screen. As a complex problem that has not yet been solved in various aspects of society, refugee issues require special attention of the social and humanitarian experts from various points of view, in particular from the legal one. The legal interpretation of the term refugee in the modern sense was first provided in 1951 in the United Nations Convention relating the status of refugees. According to this convention, a refugee is any person who, owing to well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group or political opinion, is outside the country of his nationality and is unable or owing to such fear is unwilling to avail himself to the protection at that country, etc. As this definition was intended to provide the legal basis for resolving refugee issues in the post-World War II years, it later needed to be supplemented and clarified, because such social transformations often require legislative changes in the definition of the term. Thus, in 1984, the definition of refugee was significantly broadened in response to the pressing needs of society. Representatives of 10 Latin American countries signed the Cartagena Declaration on Refugees, in which, to the understanding of refugees, the following was added: persons who have fled their country because their lives, safety, or freedom have been threatened by generalized violence, foreign aggression, internal conflicts, massive violation of human rights, or other circumstances which have seriously disturbed public order. The definition vector of refugee in the European Union Qualification Directive was outlined, and later the official, multilingual, and multidisciplinary Thesaurus of the European Union interprets the term refugee as well. The Thesaurus also notes that this term refers to the thematic block of international relations. Concept scheme: international security. Concept: international issue. These definitions show the existence of lexical units for specific legal phenomena as a third country national, a stateless person, which determine the legal status of the individual, its legal links with the country, and reinforce the differential component of the lexical meaning of the term and take into account the realities of the European present. The terms refugee and біженець in their internal content include a wide range of legal relationships. So, from the legal point of view, a refugee is one who fulfills two basic conditions. The first one is a cause or a complex of causes, justified fear and suffering from persecution for one of the reasons. I named them: race, religion, nationality, belonging to a certain social group, political beliefs, etc. And the second one is effect or effects. He or she left the country of their permanent residence or citizenship, nationality, is outside the country of their citizenship and is unable to return to the country of their citizenship due to fear of persecution. It is these denotative themes that form the lexical industry-specific meaning of the legal term refugee and біженець. All interpretations of this unit can be divided into two types: the person in question as a subject of the act, and the person as an object of the act. In addition, the implicit legal information emerges from the above definitions. Refugees are persons whose human rights have been violated and who require international, outside their country of nationality, protection. Genus-species relations in the lexical semantic system is an important source of terminological information. The terminological system of each area is based on rationally related and interrelated terms, which influence each other. Such connected terms work together to ensure the integrity and stability of industry-specific terminology. The analysis of the meaning and functioning network of the term depends significantly on the units surrounding it. Associative relationships are a kind of a dictionary scheme containing units with the psychological associations formed between them. By linking the meaning and relationships between such units, it is possible to enrich the meaning of the term and to describe its place in the system of the professional worldview. The official UNESCO website contains the dictionary UNESCO Thesaurus. It is an ordered, controlled, and structured list of terms used for thematic and subject analysis and document search, I mean, the Thesaurus is a search tool in a narrow semantic and industry-specific information search engine. The refugee lexeme request showed the following results presented on the screen. In the given fragment of the Thesaurus, the unit of broader content to the noun refugee is the term migrant, with the related units disadvantaged groups, humanitarian assistance, refugee education, rights to seek asylum, social problems, devastated countries. The Visual Words resource offers a visualized scheme of associative links of the term refugee. Next to the associative links, the proposed model also contains elements of hyperhomonymic bonds: exile, expatriate, expat, refugee, displaced, DP, or stateless person. This structuring a separate text as well as the language material of the entire subject area provides an opportunity to reach the more global level of structuring the knowledge of a particular professional area. Associative bonds ensure the coherence of the entire text as a speech product and as a form of organization of the discursive space. A term integrated into a special text, building hyponymy, synonymous and associative bonds, discloses its conceptual meaning and provides the speaker with additional tools to interpret the linked units within the verbal cognitive terminological structure. So as the phenomenon of refugees has evolved over time, it has attracted the professional attention of specialists from various social and humanitarian fields of science and society. The lexeme of common use acquires the content needed for serving certain scientific domains. I mean, the meaning of the lexical unit of the common language is redefined, that the language unit becomes terminologized. The universality of the refugee біженець cognitive terminological structure has been formed in the global public space. That is primarily due to the nature of the phenomenon itself, which it denotes the movement of people from a country with negative conditions and circumstances of life to a country with a better situation. Naturally, the universal features of this concept have influenced the specificity of the cognitive terminological structure, refugee біженець, that functions in various professional, including legal, discourses of each society. Being updated in a certain professional discourse, the concepts create a network of subject area, evoke the cognitive term structure in a speaker's mind that is verbalized by the term in a specific communicative situation. This process of verbalization is influenced not only by objective professional circumstances, but also by a host of historical, cultural, social, temporary, personal, and other factors. Thank you for your attention.